What's up everyone and welcome to the club. In today's video, we're creating a sketch illustration of Sonic the Hedgehog. Let's begin today's lesson by blocking out the basic shape and pose of our character. Now we start at the very top of our page and sketch out a circle for the head. Let's start right in the middle. Go all the way around towards the bottom. I'm just going to rough this in. The circle doesn't have to be perfect. Now with the head in place, we're going to come down towards the bottom and add a curve for the spine. Just going to bend this down and over towards the left. Now along the spine, we're just going to locate the hip. So right about here, just going to mark this off. Let's extend the leg going up, and we'll just bend that out towards the heel to right about there. And then from the heel, just sketch out a small circle. Let's go back to the center of the hip. We're going to curve the back leg, going around and then down towards the knee. Let's sketch out a small circle to close that off. Now I'm just going to bend the leg, coming across towards the ankle, and then add another circle to close this off. Now we're rotating the body over towards the left side. So from the top of the spine to the bottom, we're just going to add a curve going around the left and then back in. Let's go back up to the top and round out the back side and then in towards the hip. Now I want to twist the upper body. So on the top left side, let's add a circle for the edge of the arm. And then from the center, draw a straight line going across towards the right. Let's close off the arm with another circle. Now the right shoulder is going to turn around towards the back of the body. So up here, it's going to angle the arm, coming down and across. And we'll close this off with another circle. Now from here, we just want to add some volume to the feet. Let's start from the inside of the ankle, curve the top of the foot. We're going to go up and then that out towards the end. Come down and just bend that up towards the inside. Let's go to the bottom foot, starting from the top of the ankle. It's going to round out the heel. Come down and across towards the toe. And we'll just pull that back up towards the inside. Now that we have the basic pose of our character, it's time to add a second level of detail. Now with the head, we just want to rotate this over towards the left. Let's start from the top, left side. Just going to draw a curve going around and then in towards the bottom. Let's go to the bottom left side, curve the muzzle, going across. I'm just going to pull that up towards the right. Now that we have these guidelines, we're going to add some detail inside the head. Let's start from the center point with the nose. Draw an oval. I'm just going to angle this up towards the left. So it's coming down at an angle. And we'll curve the top of the muzzle. Starting from the left side of the nose, bend this down and up towards that center line. Go to the right side of the nose, come down and then up towards the cheek. Let's round out the cheeks. Starting back over on the left, curve around. I'm just going to pull this in towards the bottom of our circle. Go to the right side, round out the cheek. Just blend that in towards the bottom. Let's add the mouth over on the right side. Start with the top of the mouth, coming down and in. Go back to the corner. I just want to tuck that in underneath. Let's block out the shape for the eyes. On top of the nose, we're going to step up, curve the eye going up and then out. Round out the eye, come down and then in on top of the muzzle. Just going to round out the brow. In between, go up towards the top of the right eye. It's going to pull this back down on top of the muzzle. So just round out the eye and pull that in. I can always go back and just modify the shape. Now I'm going to place that thick brow on top of the eyes. Let's start from the outside, just going up around the eye, and then bending that in. Let's move over towards the right eye. Add that curve. Now I add the first spike along the top of the head. Let's start on top of the left brow. Just going to extend this up and then go out towards the back of the head and then bend that back in. Let's layer the second spike. We're going to step in, bend this across, and then down towards the side, and then pull that in towards the side of the head. Now we're going to add one more spike, going out and then down. Now just pull this back up and in towards the bottom of the chin. Now we're going to add one more spike on the back side of the head, starting underneath the chin. Just going to bend this out and pull that in behind the body. Now we're going to add the ears on top of the brow. Start on the left. It's going to angle this up and out and come in towards the head. Let's add a point on top of the right brow, going up and then back down on the outside. Now you want to have our character looking towards us. So with the left pupil, we're going to pull this in just on top of the nose and draw a half oval, coming down and then up. And then we'll position the right pupil just on top of the muzzle. And now we're going to move down and add some shape to the arms. Let's start by adding some thickness. So starting from the top of the circle, draw a straight line going out, go along the bottom. Let's do the same thing with the legs. Just tracing the bottom of the leg, coming in towards the lower torso, step up, and draw on the top of the leg. Let's add some thickness to the lower leg, just rounding out the knee, and draw the inside. And then along the bottom, I'm just going to curl the tail, going out and up, and just pull that back in towards the side. Now we're going to go back up to the top and draw on the hand. We're going to start from the top of the wrist, draw an oval, going around towards the outside, and then bend that back in towards the bottom. Let's add that thick cuff, going all the way around and back up underneath the bottom, almost like a circle. Now the fingers are going to sit along the bottom of this oval. So let's start with the first finger. It's going to come down and up. Now I just want to block this in. Add the second finger. We're starting to straighten out the fingers along the top. And then the top finger, we're just going to bend this out and up. Round out the finger and then pull that back in. Let's draw on the back arm. Start by adding some thickness along the side. Then round out the wrist. Now around the wrist, we're going to draw a circle for the cuff. Then from the bottom of the cuff, draw the hand, going around and back in. Let's add the thumb along the bottom, just bending this down and pulling that back up. And then with the index finger, we're going to go straight out, round out the finger and pull that back in. Let's layer the last fingers on top. Now I want to add a thick cuff around the feet. Let's start from the top of the foot, draw one curve, step down and draw that again to add a fold. Let's go to the bottom, curving around the foot and up, around at the top, and we'll add the second layer along the top. Now we're going to add a little bit more detail to the feet before we start cleaning up our drawing. Let's start by adding the bottom edge of the sole. So along the bottom of the foot, let's add that curve. I'm just going to pull this up and over towards the tip of the foot. Let's go to the bottom foot and let's add that trim. Going around and then out, step down and draw that again. Now along the bottom foot, I'm just going to trace this out to the bottom edge of the sole. Once we're happy with our rough sketch, we're going to go in and start adding some detail and refining our shapes. And I like to start with the nose. Just going to trace out the nose. Add a small highlight circle along the tip. And then we'll darken up the bottom, going around that highlight. Now from the nose, we're just going to work our way out around the muzzle. So we'll start with the left side. Just rounding out the cheeks. I'm just going to separate out the teeth with a small curve from the outside coming in. Now from here, just going to work our way around the perimeter of the eyes. Now we can always go back and readjust the shape if we need to. Just going to pull this in towards the brow. go in and just trace out the iris and pupil. Let's add that highlight along the top, and we'll just darken up the bottom. Just working our way around the brow. And we'll go in and add a little bit more shape to the ears, just rounding out the edges. And we'll trace the inside of the ear. Now I'm going to come back to the head after we've drawn in the overlapping arm. So we're going to start from the shoulders, adding that cuff, and I want to add some folds along the inside. Just going to round up the top, add some layers going in towards the hand. Now we're just going to add some more shape to the fingers. Adding a few more bends along the knuckles. And we can go back and just finish off that spike. And from the body, we're just working our way over towards the leg. So again, just like the hands, we're going to start with the cuff, add some folds, and then just layering the shoe on top. Now along the top of the foot, I just want to add that buckle. So I'm just going to block this in. Just layer that on top of the foot. Just trace out the inside. Now with our clean sketch in place, I can go back and lightly erase some of those guidelines underneath. Now that we have our clean drawing, we're going to go in and start adding some shadows. So we'll start with the back edge of the hair, that spike. Just go a little bit darker with the back side, and then go a little bit lighter with the front of the head. Now we're just working our way down the body. Now I'm going to add a base layer of shading to the shoes on the outside. And now we're going to add a second level of contrast to our shadows. Now as we get closer to the end of our drawing, we'll continue to add some more shadows and details, and that's pretty much it. This is a sketch illustration of Sonic the Hedgehog. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you did, please make sure you subscribe because I'm posting new lessons every single day. And if you want to learn more about sketching, you might want to check out this playlist over here. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.